Well, it's another very warm welcome back to all my YouTube subscribers, and thanks once more for tuning in to Classic Dirt Bike TV. Yes indeed, another warm welcome back, and in this particular video we're going to take a look at this very nice 1981 250 Maico Twinshocker. Now this particular bike is a machine I came across at a Scottish Twinshock scramble event in South Lanarkshire a few years ago. Now, as you can see, this featured Maico hasn't been decked out in the traditional Maico red, but has been given a little twist by being rebuilt in this white livery. Now, in the past I've seen a lot of different colours and configurations and other interpretations of these German Maicos, but I have to say that this is the first time I've ever seen one in this white colour. But nevertheless, the bike's been quite tastefully put together and looks great, although the white colour scheme may not appeal to everybody. Now, many of the new parts used on this Maico build were supplied by Racebase, who of course can supply you with almost all the parts you need to bring your old Maico back to life, and they're also a very good source of other items like personalised graphics, so that you can place your own mark on your very own particular bike. Now, when it comes to these 250 reed valve Maico motors, I am quite familiar with these engines, as I owned a similar bike to this back in the day, and they were pretty quick for a 250 and reasonably reliable, although regular gearbox oil changes was one of the things that I did religiously after every race meeting. Now, these were not of course as quick as its bigger brother, the 490 Mega 2, but if you needed a bike for short twisty racetracks, then these 81 250s made a fantastic club rider's bike, and they would still keep you very competitive if you were prepared to work the motor hard enough. Although in terms of the bike's maintenance, these Maico motors were pretty easy enough to work on and were simple spannering for a DIY mechanic to fix, although you had to keep a very close eye on those primary chains, which were prone to stretching and sometimes even breaking. Now, the front suspension again on these 250s was pretty good. Their design was basic, and you could do a bit of fine tuning on them by trying different weights of fork oil if you needed to soften or stiffen up the front end. The other thing that was possible was that you could try adding or removing air through the Schrader valve on the top of the fork stanchions, which also helped slightly. But you have to remember that this was still 1981, and unfortunately this was a suspension technology of its day. Now, drum brakes of course, and these CNC machined alloy brake backplates are reproduction parts made and supplied by Bill Brown's Wilsport company. Now, this bike also has a nice pair of classic Falcon rear shocks, and again I can personally vouch for the quality of these rear suspension units, as my own 81 250 was fitted with a pair of these, and I've found them to be superb on the racetrack. Okay, they're maybe not as good as a top of the range set of Öhlins, but they're certainly great value for the price that you pay. Now the bike's rear backplate is again another nice CNC machine part from Willsport, and these are a very good replacement for the somewhat tinny light alloy plate that Maico used to fit at the factory. Now of course a plastic fuel tank on our featured bike, and this has been covered with a tank cover also supplied by Racebase in the UK. Now these are very hard wearing and can sometimes be a good option if you've got a scabby old fuel tank to hide, and what's more, they do come complete with the Maico logo, so no awkward graphics to try and stick onto a dodgy plastic tank. Now also this very nice seat is again another bespoke item supplied by Racebase in the UK, and again this is another very high quality part that comes in all sorts of designs and colours, so that once again is another good option if you wanted to personalise your very own Maico race bike. Now as nice as this bike is, I just couldn't help but thinking it's been let down ever so slightly by this exhaust expansion chamber, which really would have finished the bike off if it had had a quick brush up and a lick of paint. But despite that small misdemeanour, it still looks the dogs when it's bolted on to this very nice alloy tailpipe from DEP Pipes in Maidstone in Kent. But nevertheless, these 81 Maicos are still hugely popular with Twinshock racers these days, and good original bikes are fetching top money when one appears for sale. Although as the years roll on, these 250s are becoming much harder to find, especially the original red variety. But whether doing up one of these Maicos in this virgin white colour is maybe not your idea of a refurbishment or a restoration, then you still have to admit it's still quite a nice looking bike. Now some of the other parts, like the bike's plastics, including the front and rear mudguards, are all supplied by UFO Plastics, who of course manufacture all manner of fenders and other items for these older classic Twinshockers. Although when it comes to this white coloured Maico's airbox, I'm not really sure if this is a part that you can simply buy in this colour, or if it's just a stock Maico red one that's been painted. Although whichever way you look at it, and maybe you're of the view that this is just one of those colours that a Maico should never be painted in, and you have to agree it's certainly a different concept to see one decked out in this white livery. So anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed this very brief look around this very nice looking 81 250. Now don't forget, if these are the kind of bikes that you like to look at here on YouTube, then I hope you consider subscribing to my channel. Okay, next time here on my channel we'll be taking a quick look around Gary Smith's 360 CZ. So thanks again for watching, and I do hope you'll return to see more long lost vintage off-roaders right here on Classic Dirt Bike TV.